Hi everyone, my name is Tiffany Britton and I am here with Sarah Eika Burke today for this episode of Empowerment Through Performing Arts. So, hello Sarah,
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm doing great. Tell me about yourself. What are some of the things you do?
Okay, just for a few things. I'm a dancer, choreographer, teacher, producer, director, creative director, whatever you need me to be. If you're paying me, I'll do it.
When did you start? I love that. When did you start dancing? What styles did you learn?
I probably started when I was about 8 years old. The school that I went to had creative movement as part of its curriculum, so that's where I really started to understand my love for just moving in general. And then I joined their extracurricular dance company that was still creative movement and some modern. I really wasn't going to do anything with it until one of my teachers was like, you should pursue this and actually get trained. So my first real technique class was ballet when I was 16 years old in a class with a bunch of 8-year-olds. It was so embarrassing, but it kicked my butt and I needed it. And that same teacher, Kendall, she really pushed me and took me under her wing and guided me to get audition ready for colleges. And without her, I wouldn't be where I am today.
Role model or mentor, how did you connect and how have they helped you?
I am so lucky as someone who's just a young creative trying to figure out their way in life that I had such a support group. I don't think a lot of people can say that. And I know that I am very lucky in having that community and village. So that same teacher, Kendall, who took me under her wing, she really made me realize I could do things that I never realized were possible, even as simple as majoring in dance. I didn't think that that was something I could do. And then my professors, Shane and Cynthia in my university, they pushed me nonstop to consistently keep trying to create, keep trying to choreograph, to the point where I won the choreography award when I graduated. But they, I must have been one of the very few dance majors who came in with very little technique or very little background. It was all creative movement and a little bit of modern. And then that final push, a year and a half of ballet before going to college, but they still worked with me and they wanted me to actually succeed. So that push and that showing up for the right reason, it doesn't matter what your background is, as long as you're there to better yourself, you're going to get there. And then lastly, as I said, hip hop, I didn't start 2012. I was working the front desk at Dance New Amsterdam, which is now Gibney. But one of the hip hop teachers, Jonathan Lee, came up to me and was like, you should take my class. And I was like, okay. So I showed up and then I started going consistently. And then within a year, I was his assistant. And I'm still very much involved and do a lot of things with him. And I'm so lucky to have him because he forged this whole new career pathway that I never would have had otherwise.
Since you have been choreographing for a while, what is your favorite piece of choreography?
It's so funny because what we do in this industry is so abnormal to the normal lifestyle, and yet we are so integrated in that normal lifestyle. So things that I've done are just, this industry is such a huge open field that you can do. So breaking it down by category, if I were to, let's say biggest cast, that's not a flash mob, that I actually did have to work with and set and was 44 dancers for Center Court, Brooklyn Nets pregame show. So that was a lot of fun, but a lot of people to move around and maneuver. Probably one of the most rewarding is I was brought on as dance captain and choreographer for Kind Bars, who's already a very inspirational and huge company, but they wanted me to choreograph their Pride NYC section of the parade. So to be involved with A, that many people, B, with an amazing company, and then C, Pride, is always just very rewarding.
How did you actually get the Kind Bar job?
I was approached by a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend who worked with the field marketing department at Kind, and she had been starting coming to my classes, and she was like, I really like how encouraging you are to your students, and that positivity just really shows. And so she was like, I would love for you to be one of my influencers and ambassadors. So then from there, I just kind of really started becoming more part of the team, and that's where they brought me on to be choreographer.
Nice. And with all of your years of choreography, what would you say has been your biggest challenge and how have you overcome it?
My biggest challenge with choreography, so for a while, the only way you could share or to present your work was on stage or site specifics. And now the mediums and platforms have changed exponentially. So, and it's also instant. You can see things so quickly. So the challenge is, how do you find the right platform for your work? And then how do you grow with it? And the only way to resolve it is really trial and error.
What has been your biggest success then?
again, our field is so interesting because you can do so many things within that industry. So success, it's been so different each year, and then each platform is always so different. So is it choreographing for center court? Is it being featured in music videos or on television? Having the pleasure of being able to teach at NYC's finest studios and conventions. So let's just say for this year, 2022, I've never been a professor before. So thank you, Robin Lewis and Rider University, for having me. I am also talent and choreographer for this virtual reality game on the Oculus called FitXR. And it's been kind of amazing because I am able to teach and reach people globally. And I think that's so cool when you can reach people around the world.
What was that process like getting into the job? Do you have like a little animated character? Like, what is that exactly?
It's a whole production. So what happens is that they send me the assignment for my dance class. I then choreograph it. I then have to film it, send it over to mocap, then it gets motion captured. Then I get that avatar back. Then I write a voiceover script for it. Then I go into a voiceover session for those classes. And then from there it goes through QC, then up for the whole entire world to play.
That's so cool. I love that. That sounds amazing. Oh my gosh. What would be your dream project or performance to work on?
My dream project is not necessarily a platform. It's more of just making a difference, honestly. It could be one person, it could be a whole community. But I think a lot of creatives forget that they have this power, or don't even realize that they have this power to make a difference. And that's what art is all about.
What else are you currently working on?
So we've got that FitXR that we talked about before. And as I said, it's a whole production wheel. And then I also choreograph for artists, one of whom right now is coming out with a huge packet of visuals with her new EP, so stay tuned for that. And I'm about to do a Mother's Day campaign with Brooklyn Cloth. And I do a lot of brand collaborations, specifically right now, Fabletics, Velvet Eyewear, and Cozy Earth.
How can viewers stay connected with you and maybe take class and just see what you're up to?
So I'm not teaching open classes right now, only because of my crazy production schedule and on top of being a mom. But people can take my tutorials on my YouTube channel. I also have a lot of whatever I do on my Instagram and TikTok at Sarah Eika, but people can follow my newest work, my newest collaborations, and just lifestyle situations of Sarah Eika Burke.
All right, well, thank you so much, Sarah, for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, of course. And thank you for tuning in. We will see you next time.